This is WTF Nation Radio.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
I don't know shit about fuck.
All right, everybody, what's going on? Let me turn that music down a little bit. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Friday Night Freedom. This the day of the week that we just kind of get together and rehash the news of the week and kind of break it down Barney style for everybody. Today is the 16th day of September 2022. My name is Koz, and right up there is Pooky. What's going on, man?
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, good to be here. Good to be here. Yeah, Branko, and I was gonna. I took a nap and I forgot to prepare material for today, which is POW-MIA Remembrance Day, I believe. And right before I took my little nap, I was like, I need to prepare something for this, and I forgot. So my apologies. But yeah, today is a POW-MIA Day. Oh, Friday, man. What a week.
What? It went by so quick.
I don't know, man. I think it's just this stack up of four-day work weeks for me, which is just really throwing my schedule off. It's like taking a nap during the day. Feels really, really good, but it screws your schedule up really bad. I had to, okay. You did a drink check, and we have someone that had who's having Yochebel said box wine.
Yes,
I got a story that's gonna dovetail off of that.
Ironic, ain't it?
Yeah, it is, right? But yeah, man, it's just we had the weekend in San Antonio was a work day for me, but I took the day off to go down there. So that was the first 4-day weekend that I had. The next 4-day work week was Labor Day. So we had the Monday off. Or no, I had Friday and Monday off, so it was like a 4-day weekend. So that was like a 4-day work, 2 4-day work weeks. And then this last week passing was a 4-day work week for me. So I've had like 3 or 4 4-day work weeks in a row, and now I'm heading into a week that's going to have this really long. I've got to work like Monday through Friday, and I think that's going to fuck me up. Oh,
San Antonio.
Oh, he's from San Antonio. Hell yeah, love San Antonio, dude. I didn't realize
moving out that way. I was actually planning on moving out that way.
Really?
Years back. Yeah.
Until I went back, I didn't realize how much I really like San Antonio. That's a cool city. It's a really cool city.
The city itself is cool, but the outskirt areas like the Texas, what they call them, Texas foothills or the Texas hills or whatever, most beautiful place in Texas. East Texas, screw that. West Texas, screw that. The hills of Texas. It's like the heart of Texas at that point. That's the best way to explain it.
Yeah, I do love me some San Antonio. Yeah, I'm up here in the Dallas Fort Worth metro mess, and it's good. Traffic sucks, but the work is awesome. So this is where I stay. This is where I make my home. Oh my gosh. Yeah, sports bar. We're gonna talk about some undocumented visitors to Martha's Vineyard. I wasn't sure. I know that Martha's Vineyard has nothing to do with Martha Stewart. But I did see some tweets and some things that people say for the longest time they thought that Martha's Vineyard was named after Martha Stewart. And here I'm just thinking, okay, maybe it was like Martha Washington or something, George Washington, Martha Washington, Martha's Vineyard. It was like it was named after like the explorer, the daughter of an explorer back in like early 1600s, 1609, 1608, something like that. I guess I could have made a note with that. Yeah, we're going to talk about.
I'm looking it up right now to give you.
Can you pronounce that name? It was a weird last name.
What's the last name you're talking about here? I'm looking. It's Wampanoag. I guess it's a Native American tribe in that area. It's often called the Vineyard Nope. I guess that's where I don't know where Martha came with this. I'm looking it up right now.
Martha's Vineyards had several different names. Martha's Vineyard's just the one that stuck because it was named after the daughter of an English explorer or an American explorer. But it's got we'll get to it. I've got a little bit of history on Martha's Vineyard and a lot of memes to share with you because that's how we communicate nowadays is in memes. But let's talk about the box wine person in San Antonio. This story's for you, and my condolences. We're going to start off with a moment of silence because Fred Franzia has passed. He is no longer with us. Fred Franzia is a California winemaker who created Two Buck Chuck. Has died at the age of 79 years. and Branco. As I was reading this article, that's all I could think of, or that's what I said out loud when I'm reading all these things. The Branco Wine Company. It's not the Branco Wine Company. It's the Bronco, like the horse, Bronco Wine Company, which he created alongside with other family members, announced Franzia's death on their Facebook page. In a statement, the company says they are truly saddened by the passing of its founder and CEO, Fred. According to the company, Franzia died Tuesday morning at his house in Denair, California, surrounded by family and loved ones. Franzia had a large impact on the wine industry and was known to criticize high-priced wines. In 2009, he told the San Francisco Chronicle, who says that we're lower priced? We're the best price. The others are overpriced. Bronco said Franzia believed wine should be enjoyed and consumed on every American table. Franzia created Charles Shaw, also known as $2 Chuck, sold exclusively at Trader Joe's since 2002. He helped wine become more accessible to everybody. Franzia never owned the famed box wine brand that shares his family name. Franzia's parents owned that, and they sold the label of the Franzia label in 1973 to Coca-Cola. That move prompted Franzia to start Bronco Wine. Franzia is survived by his 5 children, 14 grandchildren, and 2 sisters. In their statement, Bronco said Franzia's legacy will endure for generations to come. Hi, Elizabeth. So that's kind of cool. I mean, the guy
He's
saw.
like the what's that? Arizona iced tea of wine.
There you go. Arizona
There you
iced tea is. Did that even tick up in price yet? I thought it was like it wasn't $1.99 and now it's $1.09 or something like that.
Well, the thing people are confusing is there's state taxes on certain things like that. So when they pay their 99 cents, they're getting hit with their whatever their state tax is. But the product is still 99 cents. Yeah.
And the hot dogs at Costco are still $1.
And there you
$1.50,
go.
$1.50.
Yeah, well, $1.50, I think. Hey, but you don't need a membership to go get a hot dog. A lot of people don't know that.
No, I mean, you can just walk in and get one. Or, like me, if you've got an expired Costco card, you can just show your Costco card and walk in. You just can't.
You flash it.
You just can't. You just can't check anything out. Right.
Yeah, you can't buy nothing, but you could wave the card, get in. But you don't need to get in for the hot dog. You just walk in through the food court, and they'll leave you alone.
Yeah, they don't card you for a hot dog. So, the Queen got some news here. She's still dead.
Oh.
Uh-oh. I think we lost the Pooky. But I guess we're gonna keep on driving forward with the story here. What the hell's going on? That was weird. Where'd he go? Pooky, come back. Oh, he's frozen. Look at him. Look at him. He wants to be here. He definitely wants to be here. Call back, brother. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can get him back. I don't know what happened. That was weird. How do I do this? What do I do with my hands? Let me... He said his internet just went poo-poo. We'll see if he calls back. But anyway, the Queen, there's like just been this too much. It's just been so much information on the Queen. It's just been nonstop Queen. And I get it. It is big news, but it's kind of a lot. It's super saturation of queenness. There he is. What happened there?
I guess my internet decided just to crap out on me.
See, I don't know if it was your stuff or my stuff. So I'm glad.
No, it's 100% my end at that point. I don't know.
Okay.
I had to go run around and check things real quick.
I'm glad it wasn't me. We were talking about the Queen and how she's still not alive.
I hope so.
So Queen Elizabeth. So Queen Elizabeth is lying in state at Westminster Hall. I got booted from some chat. Apparently it was like Brit friendly, and they were all like, "Oh, my heart, thoughts and prayers and whatnot." And I said, I think, when are they going to plant her? She should be getting pretty gamey by now. And then I got banned for saying like insensitive things. I didn't mean to. I just,
like all the ABC, BBC, Fox, whatever, anyone that was showing it live on TikTok, or the Clock app is what I like to call it. But they had to block the comments. They had to turn the comments off because people were being so vicious, like straight savages. I was like, oh.
I got a friend of mine. He's from Burma. His dad got him out of Burma when he was really, really young. And he's just like, you guys are really, really savage with this shit. And by you guys, he meant, just, Americans. Yeah. I guess we kind of lose our compassion on certain things, and that's one of them. But anyway, there's she's on display. She's lying in state on display. That's just a bad way to put it. So she'll remain there until her funeral on September 19th. So finally, they've allowed the riffraff commoners to come by and see her.
14-hour queues.
No, that number has changed, and I'm gonna share a. Let me see what. Is it this one? Yes, here it is. This is live, and this is okay. Over on the left-hand side, right under that little pin underneath London, is where she is. That purple line that goes along at this, probably the Thames. That is the line to go and see the Queen. It has been, okay, it's up to 25 hours right now. 25 hours from the start of the queue to be able to see the Queen lying in her box. Unless, I was, when I first pulled up this page, the wait was 22 hours, and at that time the longest wait time to go and see the Queen was 24 it was 24 hours was the longest. They shut down.
When I first saw it was 14 hours, so obviously I can't wrap my brain around this, but keep going, please.
But dude, unless you're David Beckham. David Beckham, he waited in line for 13 hours. So, I mean, not even David Beckham can jump to the front of the line.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The queue has gotten so long at some instances that they closed entry to the queue. The longest time that they closed the entry to the queue was 6 hours, where they just said no one is allowed to get in line. You couldn't even get in. There was a line to get in line to go see the Queen. The Queen Mother.
I just can't wrap my brain around it.
So now the wait time is 25 hours, dude. That's a day. I've got stuff to do, man. I can't.
I guess Americans are a little bit more detached from that, because one of our former presidents that croaks, it's like, okay, cool, watch the ceremony, watch the 21 gun salute. All right, that's the end of it. No?
Yeah, flags are at half staff for 10 days, and
someone was telling me in the UK they were given, like, some businesses were given like 10 days, 12 days off for mourning of the Queen. I was like, wait, what? What? Is that real?
She wasn't murdered. She was 96 years old. She lived a full life, and then she passed. It wasn't like it was unexpected or anything. But I get it. It's just that pomp, that just the whole ceremonial thing.
Dog and pony show is what it is.
It is, when they had a change of command ceremony. So now Prince Charles is now King Charles III.
Hip hip hooray!
Yeah, long live the king and
hooray.
his queen side chick Camilla.
Hey, is that a coincidence?
God, the memes are just funny, man. It's like, hey, y'all, you side chicks out there, there's still hope for you.
Let's say like art imitates life.
Right.
So I mean, it's just you live in a clown world, you get clown memes.
Nick Steff's I can't see because I'm blind. Costco has carded him in Hawaii.
For what? Going to the food court? No, they're not supposed to do that. No.
To get a hot dog or to get into the store. I always get carded to get in the store. But
Never got carded to go into the food. I just walk into the food court, grab me a hot dog, roll out, man. It always just.
So anyway, Charles, I guess there was a change of command ceremony, which was a whole lot less. There was a whole lot less pomp and circumstance for that. But he said some words and stuff. Did you guys hear some of the? No, I don't know that this. I kind of grabbed this right before the show. I'm really not sure of the accuracy of it. It sounds pretty brutal to me, but let's listen to it together. Tell me what you think.
My lords and members of the House of Commons, I am deeply grateful for the addresses of condolence by the House of Lords and the House of Commons, which so touchingly encompass what our late sovereign, my beloved mother, the Queen, meant to us all. But I'd like to make one thing straight. Charlie's in fucking charge now, and shit's about to get fucking real. As I stand before you today, I'd like to address some of the tyrannical shit I'm going to do as king. First off, America, we're taking you back. You cunts have been free for far too long. I will not have it. Australia, you're going to become a massive fuck-off prison again. Fuck you cunts. India, you're safe. We don't really want you back anyway. Also, I'm bringing that thing back where, like, the king gets to fuck your wife the day you get married, if he wants to. That was a cool rule. Anyway, cunts, adios. I'm out of here.
So I'm not sure of the accuracy of that. You can't really believe everything that's on the internet. That seemed kind of forceful. If he really said that, I think that may have made a splash in the news.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his American overseers would be like, ha ha ha.
Chuck, you can't say that, man.
Ooh.
So yeah, if you're in London, you're not doing anything for the next day. Go hop in line and go and see the Queen.
See, in the States, we do this with video games, not dead people.
What? Have memorials?
No, have multi-day lines waiting outside.
Oh,
of the
I
game
know
shop.
that, and for concert tickets, and yeah, we'll stand in line for days for concert tickets or, first release, games and stuff.
For a monarch that didn't do anything for us, yeah.
Yeah, I still don't. I've been reading a lot about it, and maybe I'm just a bad student or just an insensitive American. I don't get it. I don't get it. Who made them royal? What made their, and you talked about it a little bit last week. Who said, okay, you guys are the chosen bloodline. We're going to worship your asses forever. And you're allowed to have multi-billion-dollar corporations, and we're still going to collect a bunch of taxes to give you even more money,
or just colonize like half the damn world. And, utilize their locals for slave labor so you can make more money. But I'm not even going to get into that.
So let's get back. Let's get back to the good old U.S. of A., the good old United States.
Pouring tea in the ocean right now.
Pouring tea, kind of maybe seltzer, THC infused seltzer, possibly legalized by. Holy crap! Andy's here. I haven't seen her in a long time. What's up, Andy? Love to see you. I miss you. She's going to be
beat the pizza lady tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, man. Everyone needs pizza. Pizza brings the world peace. So on July 1st of this year, Minnesota breweries, that's such a hard word for me. Some people can't say chrysanthemum or aluminum. I can't say brewery. That or rural, like R-U-R-A-L, like the rural area. Rural.
Earth. Can you say earth?
Earth.
Yeah, I got a friend that says it like earth or iron. Iron, he says earn.
Earn?
You know what I mean? I understand what he's saying, but most people are just like, what did you just say? I was like,
have you seen the corn kid?
It's corn.
Corn. I like corn.
He's making money right now. He's making bank right now.
I can't even say corn the way he says corn.
Oh.
He is making money now. My daughter sent me a copy of that video months ago, and apparently people have just embraced this kid. I'll play it next week.
TikTok just like for some reason just grabbed onto it. It was trending for about like 3 weeks. I don't know what the new one is. It's the stupid dancing little fucking waifu thing dancing. That's the big one right now.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to check it out. I don't have the clock app, so I'm gonna have to search for it. I'm sure there's YouTube videos for days on that stuff.
Yeah, you need to. What do they call them? Extras or shorts on YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube Shorts.
It's pretty much TikTok just shit it out on a YouTube.
So anyway, with this THC seltzer thing, so on July 1st, that day, Minnesota State Legislature passed a law allowing the sale of products containing THC. This is a baffling development because it's a completely Republican-run state. In its long-standing opposition to marijuana legalization, yet Statute 151.72 passed unanimously with no debate in a GOP-controlled Senate. There's some debate about whether some Republican lawmakers either read or understood what they read when they read the statute, which was sponsored by the Democratic Farmer Labor opposition.
Gotta pass it to know what's in it.
Well, you got to pass it, and then we'll know what's in it, right? Isn't that what they did with Obamacare?
Yeah. I was getting on Pelosi with that.
So for the past few years, the state had already allowed the sale of products containing Delta 8 THC, a less potent minor cannabinoid. But the new bill also legalized the sale of Delta 9 THC, the major cannabinoid that creates the euphoric effect that most marijuana users seek. With that, the least regulated legal THC market in the United States is open for business. A quote of one of the legislators, that doesn't legalize marijuana. And then there was a pause. We didn't just legalize marijuana, did we? And that was a quote from Republican Jim Abler joking during the session. They hadn't legalized marijuana. Instead, they legalized the manufacture and sale of products containing hemp-derived THC, edibles, capsules, tinctures, and drinks with high enough concentrations for most people to feel their effects. I thought that we were doing a technical fix, and it wound up having a broader impact than I expected.
I love it. They did the same thing in my state, so just they made the same mistake, and they're like, "Wait, what's going on here?"
I mean, come on, do that in Texas now. Okay, do Texas. Minnesota craft breweries were some of the first to act on this. Unlike the newly authorized THC market, the state's regulatory environment for alcohol is highly complex, with draconian rules about how and where local breweries can sell. It's kind of like, I think, Oklahoma, don't they do the near beer thing? They can only sell like 2% alcohol beer on Sundays or some shit like that.
Oklahoma's a very weird state when it comes to alcohol sales. But even my state's weird. Like I'm fortunate enough to live in the county that sells alcohol like beer, anything below like 13-14% or something like that. 24/7. All the other counties have to wait till like certain times of the day because we live so close. We're a tourist destination first off, and we live so close to the North Carolina border where you just roll up and buy beer whenever you want to, whatever the day it is. So they just had to say, yeah, we just need to do it. That's what Virginia did because Virginia legalized marijuana because Maryland legalized it, DC legalized it. So they were just kind of stuck next to like, we can't enforce this no more. So we didn't jump on the bandwagon. So this is going up and down the East Coast, like freaking, like this Delta 8 stuff. That like I walked into a smoke shop the other day. I was like, where the hell am I? Did I just step into California, Colorado, somewhere? What's going on? It's like, hey, it was nice. I walked in. I was like, yeah, we sell Delta 8. I was like, the hell's Delta 8? Oh, it's THC, but it's derived from hemp and therefore legal. And I was like, please explain. And the smoke shop guy like explained it to me down. He's like, now, if you're working a job where you get drug tested, you're gonna pop hot for THC on that, regardless. You know, he gave the warning. I was like, well, I don't really worry about that, but let's give it a try. And I was like, holy crap, this is decent shit. So, but I mean, I don't like smoking, you know that. I say that all the time, but no, I mean, this loophole, there's smoke shops opening everywhere.
That's kind of cool, man. That's cool, and it's gotta be a tax boon for the state.
Yes, I mean they can. I mean, because it's now no longer federally illegal, I guess is what the term is. They can actually legally, you know, drop their money off on the bank account. You know, like where in Colorado, anything like weed related is you can't put it into a federal bank account.
Yeah, it's like a cash only business. You got to launder it and then you can deposit it. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works, man.
Yeah, this is just making it so hard for people. You know, like the states don't realize that how much tax dollars are losing out on this shit. But I digress from that. I can go down a rabbit hole for days on that one.
So, as a result of all the regulations in Minnesota, much of the beer business is oriented around selling 6-packs directly to customers, making it easy for them to shift gears to offering THC drinks as well. It's like and this is a quote from one of the people that are taking advantage of this. He goes, "It's like the wild, wild west right here, right now." Dan Wellendorf, co-owner and head of marketing at Minneapolis Modest Brewing. "We can sell as much as we want to whomever we want. There are few limitations. The drinks can contain no alcohol and no more than 5 milligrams of THC, or 50 milligrams per package. And labels must include the lab results certifying the dosage, but oversight is entirely down to the Board of Pharmacy. In the entire state, it's a 23-person government agency that usually focuses on pharmaceuticals and only deals with consumer complaints after the fact. The board doesn't have its own labs to test for compliance, and the only guidance that they've been given to the police for enforcement is a checklist for inspections, so manufacturers have really no incentive to comply." Jason Sandquist, co-founder of Wild Mind Ales. Despite that warning, Wild Mind released their 5 milligram Wild Water infusions line on September 9th. They sold out over 1,000 cans before noon on the first day. Jason said, "You know what? If I don't do it, the next person down the street's going to do it, and I'm going to be out of business. It's like a gold rush." So until the legislature gets back and starts regulating the crap out of this is going to continue. So if you're up in Minnesota, man, take advantage. Take advantage.
South Carolina.
How long ago did South Carolina do this?
This was just recently, so I guess they were like kind of like following suit with some sort of weird, you know, let's suppress the devil's lettuce, or little do they know that they just opened a freaking gateway to hell with it. But it's just, like, you see the college kids around here just love it. They just they're just walking around. You can tell they're just high 24/7. So
right. Drinking weed water.
Yeah, weed water. You know, like, oh crap. And there's no laws against drinking that in public. Like, I could walk down the street with a beer.
It's not alcohol.
Yes. So I can walk down the street drinking a beer, go to jail, but I can drink this stuff just walking down the street.
But I think in South Carolina, you know, especially in the Myrtle Beach area, there's no real open container. There might be an open container law, but it's not really enforced. Is it?
It depends on who you're dealing with and if the cop has a quota by the end of the month and meet. You know, like that quota thing, everyone says is not real, but no, apparently around here it is. They'll arrest you over the dumbest crap. But I've heard of people getting arrested in their front yard, like just standing there with a can of beer in their hand in the public view. That is considered a open container and public intoxication at that point, huh?
Oh, Holly said it best. She goes, "I'd rather see a bunch of potheads over a bunch of drunks." Drunks get violent sometimes. Sometimes you get angry drunks. A lot of times you get, happy drunks. I'm a happy drunk. I have a few beers. I am happy. I'm not looking to kick anyone's ass, or I'm not looking to get my ass kicked by anybody who's been drinking as well. I'd rather be around a bunch of potheads. They don't care.
Never seen two potheads go fisticuffs.
Unless they're fighting over a bag of Doritos.
Yeah, something crazy has got to get them to fight. But I've never once seen potheads fight. Now you take it to my Army times with my old buddies in 220 Field Artillery. We'd go into the bar and we would just pick a fight just because.
Because.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, why are you in our bar? Well, this is not your. What
do you mean?
No, this is our bar, man.
Have this big old dick measuring contest, and why are you talking to my girl?
Yeah.
But yeah, Holly, you nailed that. You nailed that 100%. 100%.
I don't understand the Deep South, like their whole, like, I don't know if it's like the Bible thing, like call it the Bible Belt or whatever it is, but like, oh, the devil's lettuce is evil. You'll hear some people talking about it, and you'll hear some of the hippies be like, no, it's not that bad. Like the old school, like, wallflowers, like, yeah, that's not it.
Yeah, I mean, because if you look at the map, if you take a map of the United States and you lay it out, you look at the entire West Coast is legal. Utah, which is Mormonville, is not. Montana's legal. I think they just went recreational up there. Colorado, obviously, but then you start getting a little bit further east, and then it starts falling off, like the middle of the country. Not Illinois. Illinois still is okay with it. I think that's both recreational and medicinal.
Most of the Rust Belt actually has it legal now. That's the weird part about it. Maybe like Pennsylvania, I don't think. Ohio, maybe not. But once you get into Detroit and stuff like that, it starts getting. Michigan is legal. Illinois, I think, is legal now. It's crazy, the legality. Like, I don't understand. It's like a bunch of states just like, hey, I guess the best way to put it is like prohibition back in the 20s.
Yeah,
like,
you know how that worked out?
Yeah, well, I mean, gangs and stuff like that. But then when the federal government said, hey, we're done with it, the states, which it should be, and it's in essence, the 10th Amendment says that. But the state should have the choice on it. And you had like states like Oklahoma up until recently that were dry states. I think Oklahoma was a dry state up until the last 2 decades, maybe.
Jimmy Dean Brinkley just chimed in, says VA went medical legal, but isn't that only in states that are legal?
Yeah, if it's legal in that state, they I don't even want to say.
I've talked to some veterans. I think I've talked to some veterans in Texas that get medicinal. I think in Texas there is some very small portion where it can be medicinally prescribed. I'm not sure. I don't know. Marijuana is not my thing, dude. So I'm not. I don't pay a whole bunch of attention to it.
I'm not big on it either. But it's like the thing about it to me is why is it still illegal?
It's a plant. I get it. It's a plant. The thing is, and it's not for me. I think it should be recreational throughout everyone. It's probably better for you. And I'm not a doctor. I can't speak medically on this, but I'm thinking in my head that it's probably better for you than drinking a bottle of whiskey every weekend or every night or whatever. Mm-hmm. If you want to relax with your buddies, shit, dude, just grab do the edible things, or
play video games. Play. Just don't eat edibles and drive. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing.
Be responsible.
You don't drink. Don't drink and drive. don't kick your wife, don't beat your dog. You know,
dog, exactly. The whole 9 yards. Just don't, eat edible and drive. I'll give you that, because you could be 30 minutes down the road thinking you're fine. Next thing you know, you're seeing freaking Gandalf the Grey fucking walking off the street.
In states like California, you actually might see that.
Oh, yeah, there was a wizard that used to live up where I used to live in Pennsylvania. He was a disabled guy. He would ride around on his little, what do they call them things? Moped. It's not a moped, like little scooter thing.
The scooter, yeah.
Yeah, but he dressed like Gandalf the Grey, and he would just ride around. They called him the Wizard of Wapsie, is what they called him, because of the mountain that he used to ride around on all the time. But
this really predates you. Have you ever seen the movie Fletch? Chevy Chase.
Fletch, no.
Fletch is a reporter. He's an investigative reporter, and there was like drugs being sold on the beach, so he gets into costume, and the dude looks like Jesus, and he's roller skating down the beach in California. That's just kind of what that reminds me of.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
It's a good movie. It's probably one of my first favorite movies. Fletch, Chevy Chase. So there's been some developments, with border security. This is really super big in the news right now, and apparently a couple of plane loads of illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. A couple of plane loads of them touched down in Martha's Vineyard. It's been super big news. Ever since that this was broken, those illegal aliens are no longer there. They've been, packed up in buses and taken to a military facility in the area. But anyway, the Martha's Vineyard has received, so far, 50 immigrants from Venezuela. They're not Mexican immigrants. They're Venezuelan immigrants. Many of them are women and children, some as young as 3. The planes took off from Kelly Field in San Antonio, Texas, and then went to Bob Sykes Airport in Crestview, Florida. From there, one plane went to Spartanburg, South Carolina, and then it went to Martha's Vineyard. The other plane went to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then to Martha's Vineyard. So these were privately chartered planes. So private charter planes are not required to give manifests. So there was no reason for airport officials to have to process the flight. They didn't know what the hell was coming. So according to the folks in Martha's Vineyard, they were, quote, caught off guard, and nobody expected the delivery of 50 immigrants. 50. Operation Lone Star, which is here in Texas, has estimated that nearly 7,000 to 8,000 illegal immigrants come into Texas per day. Martha's Vineyard is bitching about 50 immigrants who have been vetted and they've been processed. So they've got papers, promises to appear. They're healthy. And they show up on Martha's Vineyard. All of a sudden, everyone loses their shit. So the good news about all this is the community, the immediately surrounding community. This is everything this is what you saw on the news, is the community comes together. Food trucks showed up. Students from an advanced placement Spanish class came to help translate the wants and needs of the immigrants. People showed up with service dogs to help calm the new arrivals and all that other stuff. State officials were exploring setting up a temporary shelter and humanitarian services at Joint Base Cape Cod on Thursday for the migrants who have no place to stay. So let's talk about Martha's Vineyard for a minute. It has a population of about 15,000. There's 15,050 now on Martha's Vineyard. So it's a Massachusetts island. It sits on the Atlantic, just south of Cape Cod. A longtime New England summer colony, it encompasses harbor towns and lighthouses, sandy beaches, and farmland. It's accessible only by boat or air. Famous residents of Martha's Vineyard include Spike Lee, David Letterman, Diane Sawyer, Barack and his husband, Michelle, and many other wealthy actors and business leaders. So they didn't, everybody at the Martha's Vineyard just decided, fuck that. They bust them, and they were like welcoming all, we welcome all immigrants, and then the immigrants show up and they're like, okay, thanks for coming. We're gonna bus you to some other place. they're, I don't know, man. That's
little they know those 50 immigrants just landed the best landscaping jobs in the United States.
No shit. And I saw this on another site. There's just like, Cinco de Mayo is going to be lit on Martha's Vineyard next year.
They might have something other than was a Subway. What? Yeah, the rich people don't like that. Their food tasted too good, so like a Mexican restaurant opens up and their brains are exploding. But welcome to the rest of the world.
It's just, and it's it's
for those rich island,
for those communities that they're not used to this. They're pretty isolated. They got there's a bunch of just rich folks up there, and they don't like their system to be upset. They're into their pattern of the way that things work.
A bunch of rich white people,
right?
Can't handle a bunch of people coming from another country. Okay, I get you.
And I'm really embarrassed, and I'm sad to share that. I talk to my parents every weekend. I call them on Sundays. We have great conversations. I love my mom and dad, but to hear my mom, my dad not so much, but my mom, my stepmom, she's like, Are you experiencing this big influx of illegal immigrants there? I'm like, Mom, I live in Texas. Everybody speaks Spanish here. So
I live in Texas.
I live in Texas. We're right next to Mexico. So no, I haven't seen, a big influx of illegals, or, they're not taking over the cities. That's just not what's happening. Yes, it happens, and it saps resources and stuff. Governor Abbott's trying to do what he can do, but she's up in a very white part of the United States.
Yeah,
and she's like, there's so many Mexicans. I went to Walmart, and there were so many Mexicans there, and they weren't speaking English. I'm like, Mom, they probably are speaking Spanish. I would be more shocked if they were speaking German. Like, it's really no big deal.
She needs to take a trip down to a Walmart in Miami, and she needs to.
She's born and bred in the Midwest, Whiteville. Just I grew up in an extremely white upbringing. Even when I lived in Illinois, there weren't many black kids in school. You were either white or you were Indian. I didn't have a lot of cultural diversity when I was growing up. The Army changed the shit out of that.
Oh hell yeah, almost instantly.
And it's fucking awesome. I fucking loved it. So here I am in Texas. Go ahead.
No, I said I moved from Pennsylvania down to Texas, and I lived in the greater Appalachian part, Appalachia,
where you hardly see other humans.
Yes. And when I went down to Texas, I was like, what's going on here? I never seen people, it's just the way my brain was running. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, I wasn't used to that. And then the Army really woke me up to that. And I was like, oh, okay, this is how the world is. All right, cool. Mm-hmm. I like this.
And then don't be a dick. Everything falls back on don't be a dick. I remember.
Be a dick, don't be an ass. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid. You ever watch Little House on the Prairie?
Yes.
When Laura Ingalls saw her first black person, she touched his face. She's like, "You're burnt," and then she's like, "This isn't rubbing off," and rubbing her finger on his face, on this black kid's face. I imagine, and that's I think about my mom. I'm like, oh God, Mom, really? You're in your twilight years, and this is how you're gonna do things. It's sad, and I try to talk some sense into her, but damn it, it's kind of painful sometimes.
No, I know the feeling.
So we got from time to time I do some space news. I love talking about space and nerd stuff. But so a few months ago we talked about the launch of the DART, which is It's a mission to it's a penetrator. It's a what is it? So a milestone. This milestone comes courtesy of the double asteroid redirection test. What they did is they launched a device that's going to slam into an asteroid in an effort to redirect the trajectory of the asteroid. And that's going to happen next week, in about 10 days. I think it's about 10 days. So when we do this show next week, I'm going to actually have, I've got a link for live video. And we're going to see how well it works. I think it's going to be like Sunday or Monday is when it's going to actually hit this asteroid and try to redirect its trajectory. I think it's pretty fucking cool. I think it's really cool. Should we do it? Yeah, I think we ought to, as long as everyone's had their safety brief and everyone's done the risk assessment. Yeah. A proper risk assessment has been done, and hopefully they used all of the common units of measure. We're not talking about meters versus feet. But
so this DART launched. When did it launch? It's already it's already out, right?
Oh, it's out. It was done either late last year or earlier this year.
Okay. Did Artemis launch yet?
No. It's got a hydrogen leak. It's got a hydrogen leak. I was waiting
for it on it was supposed to be my birthday when it was supposed to launch, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is cool!" And I haven't heard anything since then. So,
William White, traffic sucks in Austin. Yes, sir, it does.
Austin is just a horrible place.
That's why when I went to San Antonio, I took the 130. I didn't even go anywhere near. I just went. I think it added 20 miles to my drive, but guess what? I didn't have to sit in traffic. It was awesome.
It's like Houston. Houston's a horrible place. I lived in Houston. Houston is a horrible place.
So this milestone comes courtesy of the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, or the acronym is DART, D-A-R-T, which launched last fall. So about a year ago, in 2021 is when it launched. On September 26th, DART will slam headfirst into a small asteroid, the rare case where a spacecraft's destruction is the desired outcome. The mission is in the name of planetary defense, which seeks to protect the Earth from any potential asteroid impacts. Scientists hope that a dangerous asteroid threaten the planet in the future, a mission like DART could avert the disaster. Scientists have identified and mapped the orbits of nearly 30,000 asteroids that rattle around the solar system in Earth's neighborhood. All of those space rocks either never cross paths with the Earth or are so small that if they did, they would harmlessly burn up in the atmosphere. Still, it's possible that an asteroid impact in the future could harm the Earth, and planetary defense experts want to be ready. So why not have like a real world thing? Let's test these theories, see if it works. So the theory goes that if scientists ever detected an asteroid on a collision course with the Earth, an impactor probe could realign the orbit of the space rock, ensuring that if it crossed Earth's path when our planet was a safe distance away. But scientists don't want to be working from just doing math. They don't want to do models. They want to do like real world stuff.
Real world applications.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. You can do math all day long, and you can do simulations all day long. That's what I do for a living. But until you do the real thing, then you really know what the hell's going on, and then you can find out what all the variables are. So that's when DART's dramatic destruction comes into play. The spacecraft will slam into an asteroid called Dimorphos, which like clockwork orbits a larger near-Earth asteroid called Didymos every 11 hours and 55 minutes. Neither asteroid poses any threat to the Earth, and the DART project is not going to change that. The DART impact should adjust the orbit of Dimorphos, cutting its orbit by 10 minutes. They think that the impact of the probe is going to change the orbit by about 10 minutes, so it'll be 10 or 11 hours and 45 minutes, or 12 hours and 5 minutes, or whatever. Scientists on Earth will be spending weeks after the impact measuring the actual change in the moon in the moonlet's orbit to compare what actually happened to what their predictions were. The work will refine scientists' understanding of how asteroids respond to impactors and help tune any future missions to the necessary amount of orbital change. So what I'm thinking about, these are a lot of fucking words, but what if the composition of that asteroid isn't what they think it is? And they either if they underestimate, or if they overestimated and it doesn't change the orbit very much, then there's probably not a problem. But if they underestimated and the probe impacts this asteroid and throws it actually into a situation where it is on a collision course with Earth.
So you're the same thing.
So I mean, you have to know the composition of whatever, if it's iron or if it's, not that there's pumice rocks floating around, but the difference, a big difference. They think it's super, super heavy, so they go with a lot of force to just change their trajectory, but they go with so much force that it breaks apart, and there's, a big chunk that's actually headed toward the Earth. I guess that's probably why we don't go up there with nukes and just bomb the fuck at everything. Because you're just going to create...
It's really playing with fire, like the whole Prometheus thing, just don't go playing with fire, but, scientists don't see that nowadays. Really don't think they can see the whole Jurassic Park thing. It's like, you spent so much time thinking if you could do it, you didn't think if you should do it, dude.
That's a lot of things is like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Nickelback just released a new single, dudes, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Did they have to? But I mean, I get what you're saying. Well, just imagine like something else, like a weird effect, like say they thought it was iron and it's actually like mostly methane, and then when they smack it in the side of it, they create a massive fireball flying through. There's a billion things that they don't know. But I mean, it's cool to see. I really like to watch this because I didn't Japan just recently land a.
They actually landed. They landed a satellite. They landed a little aircraft on an asteroid, took a sample, took back off again, and then they sent it back to Earth, and it's being analyzed right now. That is some of the coolest shit that I've ever...
That's dope.
I know.
Here we are, I mean, like, get ready for, Armageddon. After all these movies came out, like, what was that, Don't Look Up?
I love that show.
Yes, don't look up. And the trailer was like, they haven't told you yet, but this is the truth. And they show the asteroid fly. Now they're trying to defend the planet.
Are they creating the problem?
Maybe. What's that self-fulfilling destiny?
Or those who and we talked about this about COVID when it first came out. Those who prescribe those who push the hysteria also provide the cure. Or there's a saying for that. It was a clever saying. I can't remember what it is, but those who who are pushing the pandemic are also providing the cure. Maybe, I mean, that's a tinfoil hat conspiracy thing.
Well, everything's a conspiracy until it's proven right.
So Nancy Chabot said this isn't just a one-off event. The DART coordination lead at she's the coordination lead at Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory in Maryland, and they're running the mission. She says, we want to know what happened to Dimorphos, but most important, we want to understand what it means for potentially applying this technique in the future. While the stakes are low compared to any scenario that would motivate a real asteroid deflecting mission, the difficulty is still the same. This is incredibly challenging. Evan Smith, the deputy directory, Evan Smith, the deputy mission system engineer, said during a news conference, noting that the spacecraft will only be able to see Dimorphos itself about an hour before its impact. So by math, they think that that's where this thing is going to be, and they're going to hurtle this impactor at it. This is a par 1 course, and we're going to have to hit a hole in one this time. And they might miss it completely. I don't know how big this thing is. If something doesn't... Go ahead.
Dope. No, it's just dope that we're like launching things at things now just to see, like, we're that far in science, like space faring. Like, you know, Artemis coming up. You've got all this like Starlink.
So Artemis is going to the moon.
Yes.
And they're going to land on the moon.
Yes.
And that's badass because I've seen the engines on that thing, and it's massive, dude. Massive.
Someone was explaining to me, it's like, they were like, we lost all of the Saturn rockets, like pretty much blueprints over the years through like bureaucracy and crap like that, you know, like.
And that's why we're buying rocket engines from freaking Russia.
Mm-hmm. But the crazy part about it is now they're hiring people like to build this massive, you know, we're starting to get our people back, you know, like our scientists back, you know, like it's awesome. I love it. You know? Go to the moon. I want to see all the people on the moon. Let's do it.
And then I go to, and I'm thinking like Space Force. You've seen Space Force on Netflix? That's fucking great.
Little bits and pieces.
They're on the moon, and China's also on the moon, and they're like running over the American flag with their little Land Rover. it's just funny as fuck. So if DART collides with Dimorphos, then you don't see any orbital period change. This would be exceptionally surprising. Just the amount of momentum the DART is bringing on its own from the weight of the spacecraft slamming into Dimorphos is enough to shift its orbit in a measurable way. Missing is still a possibility, but that's kind of the point of DART, is to work out what would be planetary defenders need to know if they ever want to reach a real asteroid deflecting mission. This will give us all the confidence that deflection technology could work in the future.
Have you seen the actual, like, where it's supposed to land map? It's not hitting the big guy.
It's not. No, this little guy is orbiting the big guy, and they want to change.
They hit the moon to see if they can manipulate the moon's gravity to see if it will actually pull something smaller. That's what they're actually shooting for with this.
Yeah.
This is cool. It's dope. I love it. Science.
So they said if it misses, it still provides a lot of data. This is a test mission. This is why we test. We want to do it now rather than when there's an actual need.
There you go.
That's
better
why
to have
you do
it, not need it, and need it, not have it.
There you go.
I tell people this all the time.
So I think we ought to take a break, and then we're going to talk about the first week of the NFL and how much it was fire. Let's talk about the fire of the NFL. All right. See, I was gonna end the first hour with this, but I'm gonna start the second hour with this, just because I'm really lacking on content for the second hour, and I want to do a full show for everybody. I did an over full show last week, so maybe I don't want to take my change and just happen to leave. So we're gonna do this story. At the top of the next hour. We're going to take a very short break, 3, 4, 5. This is about 6 minutes. So get up, refresh your beverages, walk off those blood clots, take a bathroom break, and we're going to be back in just a few minutes.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Suck me in, we play this game and no take me to that time again, back to the days when we were no arguments and no offense. Turn back the clock to time well spent. Wanted to believe you never threw the shit to me, but if I trust you then I'm weak, and now you're crawling underneath my skin. Do you really want to die? Just bury it all inside. When all your fails are shame, I know it's not the case, but if I die, then you'll replace me tomorrow. Replace me tomorrow. You'll replace me. Replace me tomorrow. You'll replace me. So take me back to that time again. I don't wanna leave this world alone. I pray for the strength to recompense. In this game I'm losing. I'm done. And I'm done. And I'm done. But if I die, you'll replace me. Do you really want to die? Just bury it all inside. When all your fails are shame, I know it's not the case, but if I die, then you'll replace me tomorrow. Do you really want to die? Just bury it all inside. When all your fails are shame, I know it's not the case, but if I die, then you'll replace me tomorrow. Oh, you hope replace me.
WTF Nation Radio.
Sometimes when I wipe, I'll wipe and I'll wipe and I'll wipe and I'll wipe 100 times. Still poop. It's like I'm wiping a marker or something.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
And we are back. We are back for the second hour of Friday Night Freedom. My name is Koz, and up there is Pooky. See, I want to turn down this music, but I want to crank it, man. This is a great. I love this. Smooth. I love good guitar playing, man. That's just awesome. Anyway, we're back with part 2 of Friday Night Freedom. Thank you all for hanging out. William White, man, I hope you have a good night, man. Sounds like you might be going through some shit. It's kind of, yeah, the chats are dead, but that's the only platform you're on. We're on, U.S. Army WTF Moments Facebook page, WTF Nation Radio Facebook page. We're also on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're on, we have lots of stuff going on. So here we are. We're back, and we're going to talk about what I was going to talk about. The first week of the NFL was fire, especially in Miami, Florida, for the Dolphins game. And this is I guess this will be our Florida man story. There are a couple of Florida man stories that I could have chosen, but this is the one that I'm going with. So let me go with number 5 here. Check this shit out. Tailgate party kind of goes awry. Nearly a dozen vehicles went up in flames in the parking lot of the Hard Rock Stadium during a Miami Dolphins game this weekend. Investigators think the blaze started in the area of a pregame tailgate party, which is what the entire parking lot usually is before an NFL game. The fire started after most people had already gone inside the stadium to watch the Dolphins play the Patriots. It took firefighters more than 30 minutes to knock down the flames that destroyed 11 vehicles. Their preliminary investigation thinks that a car was started on fire because someone put a grill underneath a car. Dude, why? Obviously, you're using charcoal. And you're gonna keep my $8 grill safe by putting it underneath the car because no one's gonna run it over or steal it.
Transmission warm, yeah.
Dude, just imagine maybe sitting in the stadium thinking, man, where's all that smoke coming from? And then you come out and then your car's all burnt up. So 11 vehicles perished in that event. Oh my gosh. Imagine how bad, let's just say you're adjacent. You're fire adjacent. And your windows were cracked just a little bit, just the smell of your car. So 11 cars were destroyed. I imagine, game gets out, everyone's getting into their cars, they're going to leave. They can't drive their charcoal car. So whoever's responsible for this is going to call Uber and say, hey, Uber, yeah, this is Bob. I need 11 vehicles. We're all going different places, but I'm going to pay for all of it. How would insurance cover that? I don't. That guy might be able to do something that would maybe fall under comprehensive. Everyone else, how does that, I don't know, man.
I don't know. Why would you put charcoal under your car though in the first place?
It just lights your car on fire.
Oh,
that's nuts, dude. People are not people. I've got faith in humanity, but sometimes it gets shaken, and this is one of the reasons why it gets shaken.
I used to think cows were smart animals until I started working with cows a while back, and I realized that cows are dumber than rocks.
Dude, they blink and it's a new day.
Yes. So humans, I've seen what my fellow companionship can do with the wrong kind of equipment. So I'm just saying, humans are a very strange creature.
And Holly says, this is why I don't do people. Yeah, people kind of suck.
I agree.
So, have you bought a gun recently?
No, I have not actually.
So Visa has jumped on the bandwagon, and this is rattling some Second Amendment. This is like one of the last vestiges of Second Amendment things. And this is like fine print when you buy a gun, and you're like, okay, here's my credit card. I'm going to buy this gun. Yeah, you go through a background check. In some states, you have to register that weapon. In other states, you don't. Like in Texas, I can go buy a gun, and that's it. You don't have to register your firearm here in Texas. And you can carry it constitutionally as long as you are allowed to, as long as you're not a felon. Which is, I think that's the way everything should be.
Mm-hmm.
So payment processor Visa announced last Saturday its plans to separately categorize gun shop sales. If someone would pay with the Visa, and they would be joining MasterCard and American Express, which have already said that they would categorize purchases at firearm stores. Visa said that it would apply the International Organization for Standardization's new merchant code to gun shop sales. So you go to buy a gun, they categorize that sale as a firearm sale. So
just buy your gun with cash?
That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So the new iOS code was announced on Friday. Previously, gun store sales were labeled as general merchandise. You'd go to a gun store. So what do you do when you go to like Academy Sports and you want to buy a gun? Is that general sales or is that a gun purchase?
So that's a good question, actually. I never really thought of that the whole way through, because you do have like places. Well, Dick's don't do it anymore, but you have Academy and some of these big sports places.
Dick's is done. Do they still sell ammo, or did they get totally out of the firearms?
I think I think Dick's actually. Well, no, it was Dick's. It was Gander.
Gander Mountain.
Well,
Dick's
Gander Mountain
also
and
too. Dick's too. We had a
both
brand
split up.
new Dick's. It was a super awesome store, beautiful store. And then they went off the rails and said that we're no longer going to sell firearms. That store closed. A couple of weeks after that announcement.
I think the same thing happened with Gander. I think Gander said we're not selling firearms anymore. I'm like, that's where you make most of your money. You know, like, all right, well, you know, shoot yourself in the foot. Shoot yourself in the foot. I mean,
so now it's another Camping World.
Yeah. I think was it Bass Pro and Cabela's, or I think they merged. So I think they're the only ones that actually like the big supermarkets that sell like legit firearms.
Yeah, I can go and buy a gun from Academy, but they don't have a really great selection. If I want a certain gun, they can try and get it and sell it to me. But if I want to get like I'll either have to go to a gun show, because we have those like every fucking weekend here in Texas. Or special order it, and then go through an FFL.
See, that's like my buddy keeps his FFL like in his back pocket. Like they're like homeboys at that point. So like anytime he wants something, he's like, hey, I need a transfer, and it's like, done it, but buy me a case of beer. You know, like it's
right. So following ISO's decision to establish a new merchant category code, Visa will proceed with the next steps while ensuring that we protect all legal commerce on the Visa network in accordance with our longstanding rules, whatever that means. So, you know, they're just, this is another organization that's not elected. They're just created. No one has a vote on whether this exists or not.
It's like the credit.
It's like the Fed.
Bullshit.
It's like the Fed. No one votes for a Fed member.
I could see gun stores putting Bitcoin, like what do they call them, Kozaks? I can't say the word. Like the little freaking terminals.
Kiosk.
So where they just kiosk, where you walk in before you even get to gun store, be like, I want to buy so many Bitcoin. Boom, it goes onto a receipt, and then you know the gun store cashes it in, so it just bypassed all Visa saw was, you know, a Bitcoin purchase.
Yep.
So I mean, it makes no sense. They're reaching high on the tree for fruit that ain't there at that point. That's what they're doing.
Not yet. So Holly says, I can see Cabela's from my back door, and it's a beautiful sight. Cabela's is awesome. Cabela's and Bass Pro are some of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen. You know, I go to Bass Pro. I took my kids to a Bass Pro, and my daughters are like, Dad, can we go fishing here? Because they have that big tank, that huge fish tank, and there's all kinds of fish in there. Dad, can we go fish here? So the
I always like Cabela's and Dick's, not Dick's, Bass Pro. I always like them, but their stuff's way overpriced. For no reason.
It is. But you know, they got a lot of fancy shit to support, so I understand their price increase. I think it's a little much. So the move by Visa signals a major victory for gun control advocates who argue that a separate category for gun store sales will help track suspicious quantities of firearm sales. I don't know anybody that has gone into any store to say, I want to buy like all your guns, everything in this rack. I just put it in the box. I want it all.
Like Donald Trump, maybe. Like a billionaire might pull some shit like that, but I don't think your run of the mill, what people consider domestic terrorists nowadays, can't just walk into a store and I want to buy all the ammo. Good luck with that. No?
Mm-hmm. But they're
barking up the wrong tree. They're barking up the wrong tree with this shit.
They think they're under the impression that it's going to be able to track suspicious quantities of firearm sales that could potentially lead to a mass shooting. So this is on a maybe. Everything is on a maybe.
So what's that? We're Minority Report? Is that what level of like?
Oh my gosh,
we are?
That is a good connection.
Like we gotta prevent the sale. You know, we gotta stop. You know, like okay, well, murder never happened, but you're charging people with murder already. You know, like,
Gun rights advocates and gun lobbyists have said categorizing gun shop sales would be unfair to the industry, given that most firearm sales do not result in mass shootings. Like 99.9999999% don't result in mass shootings. Visa, which acts as a middleman between merchants and banks, is the largest payment network. And with 3 major payment processors all electing to label gun store sales, there will likely be pressure placed on banks as card issuers to decide whether they'll permit purchases categorized as gun shop sales on their cards. New York City officials and pension funds had pushed the ISO and banks to adopt the new code for gun shop sales. Of course, this comes out of a blue state. Merchant category codes are not exclusive to gun store sales. However, as the codes now exist for nearly every type of purchase, including those at supermarkets, clothing stores, coffee shops, and other retailers. You go and swipe your credit card at a coffee shop, it ends up being a coffee shop sale, or a restaurant, or whatever, rental car, airline ticket. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says when you buy an airline ticket or pay for your groceries, your credit card company has a special code for those retailers. It's just common sense that we have the same policies in place for gun and ammunition stores. Gun control advocates claim that the merchant code for standalone gun and ammunition retailers could curb gun violence. A week before the 2016 Pulse nightclub mass shooting in Orlando, the gunman purchased more than $26,000 worth of guns and ammunition using a credit card. Okay, there's one case. That's one case.
Yeah, but that's an average case if you think about it.
Yeah, right? It's more than an average case.
If you go to buy a decent firearm in this country, you're going to spend at least 15 to 20. So you buy the ammo. That's a standard day at that point. If you think about it,
$26,000 though, that's a lot of money. That is a lot.
I thought you said $2,600.
No,
I'm sorry, my brain.
No, the report says.
All right.
There's been some guns that I've been looking at, and even me and Ice went to Colorado Springs, and we were looking up. There was a gun auction. It was a charity event, and these guns went for just almost tens of thousands of dollars, and the actual retail price on these guns were maybe $5,000-$6,000. They're beautiful guns, long range shooting. 300 Winchester. Woo. Gun right advocates contest that tracking gun store sales, and this is a real interesting point. It would target legal gun purchases because merchant codes only label the type of merchant where the credit or debit card was used, not the specific items. So if you go to let's say you go to a gun store and you purchase something, it's going to show up as a gun purchase. The purchase of a gun safe, for example, could be seen as a large purchase at a gun shop, since the item can be bought for thousands of dollars. But a gun safe is a product considered to be part of responsible gun ownership. So you can go and buy, a $2,000 safe at a gun store, and it would show up as a gun purchase, and you might get pinged. Might get flagged.
Oh, put my tinfoil hat on real quick. They're prepping us for the time where, like the electric cars, like the big thing is electric cars, and everyone's talking about like California right now. They're telling them you can either have your AC running or you can charge your car. They're getting to the point where they can just shut purchases down regardless. Hey, I just want to buy a firearm for my home. Okay, cool. No, you can't do that. No. That's what they're getting at this point. You want to buy gas? Oh, you can't buy that. You bought enough gas this month. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy at this point with
digital currency and
currency is freaking me out, man.
Yeah, it is. Patrick has a good point. He goes, start a business that sells chewing gum and gun store gift cards and lease out space inside the gun store. You can't tag your sales as a gun store if you are your own merchant. That's some E4 Mafia shit right there.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like the whole Bitcoin thing. Like put a Bitcoin freaking ATM right outside your business. registered as a different business. So when people go in to buy guns, or they decided, hey, I want to buy guns, they just walk around the corner, hit their little Bitcoin thing up. You take the receipt up, and it just looks like a Bitcoin transaction, and that's the end of it. And
yeah, but the thing is, if you start paying in Bitcoin or any crypto, you're going to get dinged for your taxes. Your taxes at the end of the year are going to be kind of jacked. Oh my gosh, the next pistol I'm looking at is $4,500. But even if they flag me, what can they prove? Gary Branscombe says. Exactly, sports bar. It's kind of like the BYOB for strip clubs.
Exactly.
The Cat West Show Bar was a BYOB bar, or a BYOB club. You can bring your own alcohol in there, but yeah, you got to pay. But like
you got to pay, but it's alcohol. It's not alcohol. They made it inside the club.
Who drinks Sprite at a strip bar? I don't know anybody. Except for the designated driver. Possibly.
I was about to say.
Actually, no. At the Cat West, you can get mixers for free. You can get a Coke for free. You can get water for free. But you got to pay to bring alcohol into it. So here's a story for Spanky, because she's all about the tacos and things and stuff.
The moist tacos.
The moist tacos. Moist tacos are what Spanky does. Anyway,
that behoove our interests. Right?
Yes, and I just want to dovetail off of that. Thank you very much. Recently, Chipotle customers have been sharing cheap burrito hacks on social media, and it's really fucking up the system. It seems that restaurant workers aren't all too pleased with this method. Have you heard about this? I actually saw this on the news.
Have, like, a guy actually came out, like, on the clock app, the Chinese clock app, said, hey, there's this good hack, and a bunch of people started doing it, and a bunch of I guess apparently the Chipotle workers were like, this is very inconvenient for us, instead of ordering a whole burrito and or giving a cheaper option to the burrito, like, this is very inconvenient for it. So they started downsizing to it makes it the market corrects itself.
This is exactly what you're talking about. 2 employees have gone viral on TikTok after they showed their dislike toward the money-saving hack, in which customers order. They pull up to they go into Chipotle. They don't have a drive-through, and they order a single taco, a side tortilla, and side orders of meats, cheeses, vegetables, rice, beans, etc. The side orders are packaged into a small plastic container, and the hack has allowed customers to roll up their own burrito for a fraction of the cost of ordering the real burrito. Many folks have reported the hack has gotten them a deconstructed burrito for around $3. On average, Chipotle burritos start at about $6.50. So you go there, you go to Chipotle, you order a taco, a single taco, but then you add on a tortilla, any vegetables you want on there, sour cream, hot sauce, whatnot, and you get away with like a $3 charge. But if you order a burrito, $6.50. This is economics. So people were getting away with a $3 burrito that would normally cost. It's a deconstructed burrito, and you would have to throw it all together, which I'm happy to do. So every good thing must come to an end, because we can't have people being happy with stuff. Chipotle corporate has removed the single taco from the list of menu options. There's been reports of people that have ordered online after Chipotle corporate stopped doing that in the store. You could actually still order it online, and they put a stop to that too. So I haven't eaten at Chipotle in a very long time. I used to go to Chipotle and get the burrito bowl, but they started skimping on the meat and being overly generous on the rice. So, I don't want to eat rice. Rice is a filler. They're even trying to skimp on the black beans too. It's like it's coming out of their own personal paycheck. Can you add more beans?
They're opening Chipotle. They're opening a Chipotle down the road for me right now. I'm like, out of all restaurants, Chipotle is the most probably failing restaurant right now because of their practices. So they're gonna open one right down the road for me. All right, cool. See how well that works.
Their
out,
business practices are kind of fucked up right now. I mean, because everyone's. I don't know why everyone if you want to go broke really quick, open a restaurant.
Yes. Because what's statistically 8 out of 10 restaurants failed, I think. Like when I was taking my business class, it's something crazy like that, and so that's a bad business practice to get into. But it's Freebirds.
Freebirds is awesome. I love Freebirds.
That I was about to say. I was in Austin. My buddy's like, "Have you had Freebirds?" I was like, "No."
It's just like Chipotle, but it's like half the price.
Yeah, cheaper and better.
Cheaper and better, and the people are nicer. So rice is a filler. That's what I was going with. They were even trying to skimp on the black beans too. Give me the meats. I want fucking meat. I don't want to go and get a burrito and get a bunch of fucking rice and shit in there. I'm not a fan of tortilla stuffed with mostly rice. So who owns Chipotle? I had to look into Chipotle and figure out, okay, where did it come from? Steve Ells is an American businessman and is the founder. He's a former CEO and executive chairman. He founded the restaurant in 1993. He got his start with an idea and an $85,000 loan from his father, which he had paid back. Every one of the Chipotle restaurants are company-owned rather than franchised. The company grew between 1993 and 1998, and then the McDonald's Corporation invested $360 million in it. Chipotle exploded from just 16 stores in the Colorado area to over 500 nationwide in a matter of 8 years. McDonald's, being a 90% shareholder, attempted to redefine the menu, the building layout, and even tried to get Ells to rename his restaurant. Ells and his board of directors refused every suggestion that McDonald's had made. In October of 2006, McDonald's fully divested itself from its non-core businesses, Chipotle, Donato's Pizza, Boston Market. They just focused on burgers. McDonald's initial investment of $360 million reaped the company $1.5 billion. If they had remained investors, their return on investment would have been over $50 million in today's numbers. They jumped off of that train, and they could have made $48 more billion. That's fucking nuts, dude. Holly says, "I'd rather have a food truck over a restaurant." We got rid of our cafeteria at work. We used to have a cafeteria with a really good chef. He died of COVID. That sucks. But they got rid of our cafeteria, and they, like once a week they have a random food trucks from the Dallas-Fort Worth area like show up. You know, it's all scheduled. It's a controlled environment. You can't just drive on. So, you know, you go through your checks and balances and whatever. So yeah, we have some really good food trucks that come in. Some Indian ones. We got some Italian ones, burgers. We have breakfast food trucks that come in from time to time.
Taco trucks are the best.
Oh yeah, we have like 3 different taco trucks that come in, and they're all just they're awesome. They're awesome because they make everything from scratch. It's not like it's a
Taco Bell, like everything's brought in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Little Caesars franchise bullshit.
It's not a franchise thing. These guys are they run their businesses and they want to make money doing what they do. So they try to be the best at what they do. So they care about their shit. It's the same, like 3 or 4 people, maybe less. Sometimes there's 2. The breakfast ones, there's like maybe 2 people inside the truck. The lunch ones, there's probably 3 or maybe 4 folks, but they just make everything is from scratch, and they don't make all this prepackaged garbage that just goes around the entire United States. You can eat at a taco truck here at my work, and it's not going to be like any taco you've ever had anywhere else. It's awesome.
Ye old roach coach is what I like to call it.
Oh yeah, Oh, the roach coaches. You know, you go to the range. Go to the range. And that's like AFES on wheels is what it is.
So out in New Mexico, out White Sands Missile Range, it was just the Indian boy, I think his name was. He used to run around there, and he had everything. If you could think of it, he had it. He was a wizard.
I want a box of chiclets. Give me some chiclets. He had them.
It didn't matter. Like, hey, can I get a pack of cigarettes? Boof, pack of cigarettes here. You know, like, can I get a burrito? You know, boom, burrito. Like, I want some French toast. French toast. This dude was a wizard. I don't know if he's still doing his thing out there, but...
Well, he's probably married and has had kids, so hopefully his kids have carried that torch into the future.
Because he was the original Gandalf the Grey. Because when he would show up, he'd be like, "Man, I really want some more shoes. Hold on, here's some more." Like,
he would have it. Where'd you get that?
Yes. He was prepared.
Food trucks are awesome, man. Where my apartment was, we had it was a space. There was a Walmart, and then Walmart has their gas station, but there was this space that someone had bought. It was just like it wasn't even an acre. It was enough to park maybe 50 cars. Someone bought that and then laid a slab and then put power outlets there and then invited food trucks to come in. And they just did like a rotation, in and out, in and out, in and out. I think it's still there. Because every week you go there, there's like different food trucks there. So he would lease out that space for food trucks. They would pay a fee. And you can go there and eat at a different restaurant at the same place every weekend. It was glorious. It's been a while since I've been up there.
It's totally legit. Wish I'd see more of that in my area, but they kind of like put like regulations down to make it almost impossible for food trucks to operate in my area.
That sucks.
You know, they have to have a brick and mortar. They have to have, like, it makes no sense to me at that point.
Well, I used to own a catering company, and the reason why we shut down is because they wanted us to have a brick and mortar. We didn't have a brick and mortar. I made all my shit at my house. I had to have a separate cooking area for all the food.
I don't see nothing wrong with that. I mean, if I want tacos on the street, I'm gonna eat tacos. That's my personal. You know, I don't need the government telling me taxation stuff.
Where's my? Do I have my? Where is my? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Had to say it at least once tonight.
Where's my taxation stuff? There it is. Don't gotta. Oh.
At least once tonight.
I had it in the intro. My taxation is theft. Here it is.
I saw it. I saw it.
Taxation.
I have to verbally say it.
It makes you feel good, and it's true.
Yes.
And the thing is, when you started saying it, and even the Weed Brothers when they were on WTF Nation Radio, I was like, taxation is not theft, because there are things that you need to have taxes for. But the more you say it, and the more I think about it, I'm like, fuck yeah, taxation is theft, because everything now that is. You could view it as taxation is labeled as fees or service charges or extras. It's all the extras. They just call it something different. They don't call it taxation. It's just extras, extra charges, surcharges. Mm-hmm. So the pillow guy, you know who Mike Lindell is?
He back in it again, ain't he?
He got hemmed up at a Hardee's restaurant. This sucks. The guy kind of ooks me out a little bit, and I'll explain that. But Mike Lindell and a friend were returning from a fishing trip in Iowa, and he decided to stop at Hardee's fast food restaurant in Mankato, Minnesota. He ordered his food, and he moved forward when a car pulled in front of him. Lindell said to a fishing buddy that this is either a bad guy or it's the FBI. And then another car pulled up on his right-hand side, and then a third car pulled up behind him. He was blocked in. He couldn't go anywhere. The affable Lindell got out of the car and asked, "Who are you?" The agent identified himself as being from the FBI. Lindell asked for the badges, and then he asked if they're going to arrest him, and they said no. They just wanted to talk. Lindell seemed almost disappointed that they weren't going to take him in. The FBI then asked Lindell questions about people in Colorado and Dominion voting machines. And after about a 10 or 15-minute talk, Lindell claims, the FBI agent says, "I got bad news for you. We're going to have to take your phone." He didn't like that very much. They actually produced a warrant, so Lindell told the agents that he uses his phone to run 5 companies, as well as his hearing aid, and he can't give it up. He then called his lawyer, and his lawyer advised him to fork it over, and he reluctantly did. I want to say this for the record. Lindell says they were pretty nice guys. They did their job. They did what they were told. Lindell is one of over 40 Trump associates to get a visit from the FBI recently in what appears to be a sweep of Trump friends, supporters, and associates. So what kind of ooks me out? I've never slept on a My Pillow. Has anybody? Have you? Do you know what a My Pillow feels like?
No.
It's got to be a badass pillow. I have no idea. The guy's made a lot of money selling pillows. Bed sheets, slippers.
Well, his big thing is he's got that USA label on the side of his shoulder at that point, made in US. Mm-hmm. That's his big thing. You know, that really is his big thing. He produces all the labor, all the products, all the supplies come from the United States. That's his big thing at that point. You know? And
even, Holly says what I'm thinking. The FBI doesn't care about Hunter's laptop, but they care about the pillow guy.
No, I was about to get. Thank you, Holly, because I was about to get into that. The Hunter's laptop. How about the black button? Mm-hmm. Can we get to the black button? Are we allowed to get to the black book? Because there was a person charged.
Is that Ghislaine Maxwell's?
Yes. For human trafficking, but her client list is still...
She trafficked minors to nobody. But hey, the pillow guy, who happens to be on the right side of the politics...
Is that a real picture? Tell me that's a real picture.
No, it's not.
Okay. I was about to say, I looked up, I was like, please tell me that's not a real picture. Because I was about to start fighting people here.
Mike Lindell's had a rough life. He's a former crack addict.
I know.
He's had a bad life. He's had
He's a born again Christian. He got himself straightened up. I don't know why everyone. Well, because he supports Trump. That's it. Never mind.
I think that's a part of it. I think one thing that kind of throws me off is when I go on trips. For whether it's work or for station stuff, I get put in a hotel. So I turn on the TV and I watch the news. I turn on Fox News, and then there's a ton of the pillow guy, Mike Lindell's commercials. He goes out of his way to throw out that he's a Christian. I got no problem with whatever religion you are, but he'll be wearing a fucking tie, and there'll be like a fucking a cross like sticking out of his tie or something where it shouldn't be, and it shouldn't look like that. And that kind of throws me off. But I'm sure he's a good guy. He's doing what he can. He's got a $50 million. His net worth is like $50 million.
More than mine.
Yeah, it's more than mine too.
I mean, I like the guy. I mean, I have no problem with him. I mean, he pushes the product. There was this whole thing where he was quote unquote apparently scamming people, but that was right around the time where D. Treasy was running. So I don't know if that's real or not.
I don't know. He turned his life around. I'm not sure what his. I think he's got a book out.
He supported D. Treasy, and now he's getting the effects of the support of D. Treasy.
He's a high-profile person that supported D. Treasy, so now he's kind of suffering the consequences, right?
Yeah, but okay, these FBI raids, they're non-political, right? There's no political motive behind it.
How you're in an infantry platoon and you're ordered to attack a location, so you do it.
No.
I don't know. I think it's pretty embarrassing to be an FBI agent who's gone through a bunch of training, and you're a field agent and you do these things, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna tail these the pillow guy," and then they found an opportunity to pull him over, and it was a Hardee's drive-through.
So they get the man when he's trying to eat a freaking roast beef sandwich.
How fucking
Like, come
embarrassing!
on.
How embarrassing! How embarrassing for an FBI agent going, "Yeah, we took down the pillow guy today."
Like, but then they let like Al Qaeda like slip, and then 9/11 happened. So I mean, like, this is BS at this point. Like, does no one inside that entire agency have the cojones to say like, this is stupid? We ain't doing it.
Sports Bar chimed in and says, "I don't think it was because of Trump. I think it's because I think they searched him because of the bedroom and bathrooms he stalked in his commercials. Dude's a pedo-looking stalker." I don't know. I have no idea.
I didn't realize that I could just get charged with shit for looking a certain kind of way in this country, but apparently, that's, I guess, the way it works now.
You know, if you look like a pedo, I think there ought to be a whole lot more fucking motherfuckers in prison. So anyway, he wasn't arrested. He was actually looking forward to being taken in, and they didn't take him in. They just took his cell phone. Which kind of sucks, man, because my dad is the same thing. My dad has a hearing aid, and it's controlled by his cell phone, and it's pretty much useless without a cell phone. So imagine being hard of hearing and you can't hear shit, and then someone takes your cell phone away.
But I run my business off of my cell phone. You take my cell phone from me, you're hindering my business. So anything like can I sue you for losses?
I heard that I saw it wasn't a GoFundMe, but he's accepting donations for legal defense. And this is another thing that kind of throws me off. You've got a net worth of $50 million, and then you're asking for donations for a legal defense fund.
That's like the Bannons and stuff like that. Like trip me out. It's like, hey, we need money for the wall, like that. I don't know if you remember, like what was it?
And we actually did that. We actually did a story for the wall where they were actually privately funding the wall, the border wall here in Texas, and that was a sham.
It was one dude. That's why you got to be careful on these like GoFundMe kind of craps, man.
That's
really got to be careful.
That's why we don't jump on every, hey, I have a GoFundMe for a friend of mine that's blah, 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 blah. I lost my job because of my political views. I have a GoFundMe for legal defense. Dude, I don't know you.
I mean, if our page is posting it has been vetted, like, more than anything should be vetted. So
we look way too far into things. So if you see it on U.S. Army WTF Moments or WTF Nation Radio, yeah, you can pretty much count on that being vetted. Holly says, I want to order some of his sheets. I tried to look at some of his sheets and order. I've got a weird size queen bed, and I can't find good sheets for it. And I was actually looking. It's like 88. It's not a king. It's not a queen. It's bigger than a queen and smaller than a king.
What?
It's bigger than a queen and smaller than a king.
So I don't know.
It's wider than it is long.
Oh. So I would say that's a custom bed.
Yeah, and I can't find fucking sheets for it. So I found some just based on the measurements, but the damn sheets came from India, and they didn't fit. I guess out of the box they would fit, but then when you wash and dry them, then they don't fit. You know, it's just the process of the wash and dry thing that shrinks the sheets. And so every fucking night when I want to go to bed, I have to like pull all the corners back down underneath. It sucks. I'm getting ready to get rid of this bed and just buy a new fucking bed and just have normal ass, queen size sheets.
Can I have a GoFundMe for Koz's sheets? It's got to be Egyptian cotton.
I don't care, dude. Just
or
cover
bamboo.
Just cover the
Bamboo's
mattress.
better. Bamboo's better.
Okay, is it?
Yes.
I see bamboo sheets. I'm like, okay, what is that? And I imagine it's kind of like, hemp, or you can make, soft material out of whatever. Are they cool?
Like Egyptian cotton is like 500 count, maybe 600-700 count.
Okay.
Like the way the bamboo is like way thinner, and it's like wearing silk while you're sleeping at night. That's the best way to explain it.
All right, you're kind of turning me on now.
Yeah, so like you just like if you're normal like a hot sleeper, and it's like just throw some sheets on you because you need sheets on you at night
That's
because
so
you can't,
hot. Yeah,
because you can't sleep without the sheets. You gotta have at least something covering you when you're sleeping at night. But these things are so light that everything, the ambient temperature and your internal temperature, just mesh perfectly.
And that's what this pillow guy does. He makes a pillow that I think one of the stories I read was he grew up he had a pillow and he just identified an issue where his pillow got hot and it was always hot.
We always flip them over, like they say you're colder than the other side.
I've got the pillows on my bed are like goose down. They're old. They're old. The pillows on my bed are probably 50 or 60 years old because they were given to me by my grandparents.
Yes, that's legit pillows, like the goose down. All right, I guess.
So what I'll do every couple of years, I don't know, 5 years or so, I'll send them out and they'll get cleaned, restuffed, and then sent back to me with goose down. And it costs me a lot of money, but dude, I've got the best pillows in the fucking world. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
So I'll fight you right now. I got some generic fucking bamboo fucking shit sitting right here that's just like the best thing on the planet.
It's comfortable and shit.
Yeah, it's got like separate like I can split it up to wash the cover.
Oh,
and
good.
It's got different sections inside of it, so you get the cool I don't know what it is, some poly thing. But the whole thing is supposed to go around your neck, like. Because I like to sleep on my back, so this thing props my neck up.
That is awesome.
Perfect pillow.
That's
Perfect
awesome.
pillow. I've had it for 10 years now, and yeah, I paid. What was it? I think $80 for it, $90 for it.
The Perfect Pillow Company, sponsored by Pooky. Chris Stapleton is singing a Vince Gill song on CMT right now, and holy shit, chills. I kind of I do like Chris Stapleton.
I'm not a big fan of modern country. I like bluegrass and a lot of the newer bluegrass.
I think Chris Stapleton would be a cross between blues, a mix of country, not so much bluegrass. He sings a song with a twang, so I guess they call it country. But it's good music. It is pretty good. And he's got a big ass. He always wears a big ass hat.
I fell off on country music after I'd say the 90s.
The Dixie Chicks. Oh
no, this is way before that bullshit. Like maybe like Hank Williams was still singing the Monday Night Football songs. Right?
Oh hell yeah! Oh, I missed that. I don't watch NFL anymore, so I don't know what the hell's going on now.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, it is. The throwback.
I'm not that old, but I'm old enough to know better.
The throwback machine. So I got one last story here, and this is I was gonna pull up like Eye of the Tiger type shit, and why don't I do this? Let me play with. Let me see. Just type in Eye of the Tiger. Here we go. Let me see what this brings us. All right.
Tiger and a balloon bag.
So let's talk about. We got a tiger story. I gotta fade this out because it's gonna distract me. So that was Eye of the Tiger by Leo Moraccioli. You can check him out on YouTube. He does a lot of remakes of normally boring songs and makes them badass. So Marshall Maynard is a Border Patrol agent who works in Brownsville, Texas. He spotted 3 people who were trying to sneak across the border into the United States illegally. One was carrying a black duffel bag When Maynard stopped him, he dropped it and fled with all his compadres, and he was unable to stop them. When the agent picked up the bag and inspected its contents, he was shocked to find that there was a 3-month-old tiger baby, a little tiger cub. It was motionless, and it had likely been sedated for the trip, but it was still alive. Customs Border Protection quickly rushed the tiger to the nearest hospital and got it some medical aid that it so desperately needed. The cub was described as being on death's doorstep, and it was suffering from 107-degree temperatures. 30 more minutes, zipped up in a duffel bag, it would have probably killed him. Luckily, the Gladys Porter Zoo took in the tiger cub, where he quickly regained his health. The cub doubled its weight, and it was returned to its healthy glow. He now weighs 70 pounds, and he can be found playing around with all the other animals in the zoo and investigating his surroundings on most days. So that's cool. That's kind of a weird thing. Normally, Customs Border Protection is looking for human traffickers and drug traffickers, and this was an exotic animal trafficker that they busted. So that's cool. I'm glad that tiger is doing okay.
Yeah.
Not sure how many. I mean, if this is the one that they caught, how many more have gotten through?
It's like the same with birds. I don't know if you
birds, parakeets, cockatoos.
They will ship them, like you see the poor tiger in a duffel bag. They'll put them in like those metal tubes, stuff them in there, like the parakeets and all kinds of crap, just so they don't move and they don't make noise. And it happened. Well, I mean, look at Florida. I mean, fuck, they've got Burmese python. They've got, what's another big thing they got down there? They got hogs. They've got, someone was saying Texas has got warthogs now, African warthogs floating around now. So, I mean, like, these exotic trades are, like, damaging to the environment. People don't realize this shit.
We've got a lot of, like, you know, wild boars that are just fucking up, like, farmland and stuff. So there's, like, free on, just, you don't need a license. We have actual helicopter tours where you can shoot hogs from helicopters.
Yeah,
they're so bad. They're so bad. Tim Kennedy does.
Lady,
huh?
Lady in Houston a while back, like she was just stepping outside to go to work. She got mauled to death by a bunch of hogs. People don't realize how dangerous these things are.
They suck. I used to work with a guy that went and hunted hogs. He's like one of those Mayan. He's got some Mayan blood in him, and he will go and camp up in a tree and then drop down. And then with a knife, he doesn't have a gun. He kills these fuckers with a knife.
Well, I knew a dude down in Florida used to hunt them with a spear, like spear. You know, like yeah. You know, like, I'm like, you're crazy.
Oh gosh. So, what do you think are some character traits of a high IQ?
Narcissism, maybe.
It's on the list. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 6. I forgot to grab 6.
For forgetfulness is probably up there. Just forgetting shit for no reason. Time management is probably shitty because you're just so smart you don't care about time. So
you just do stuff because you got something. So number 6, which is the one that I don't have on my list. It's on the list. I just didn't capture it here. Was like your desk is messy, your office area is messy. And the reason why this is a trait of a high IQ person is because they've got so much stuff going on. When they're in the zone, they just focus on one thing. It makes them focus on one thing. I don't have the text that actually describe this, but creativity. Let's talk about creativity. I don't have any slides for this just because I thought it was kind of weird. But Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world. stimulating progress and giving birth to evolution. Another character trait is a night owl. The late nights and later
all night thinking about shitting.
The late nights and later mornings lifestyle is often seen as an antithesis to success, but some psychologists suggest that the more intelligent among us can bend our biological clocks so that they can be able to reach personal targets. The awareness of limits. Having the ability to say, I don't know, and not being afraid to do so. This ties into curiosity, because admitting you don't know something becomes easier when you genuinely want to learn something. I get this a lot at work, because they'll say, hey, here's a question. They'll pose a question. I'll say, I don't know. And that forces me to go and fucking learn something. And not necessarily, they'll find their answer by someone else, because I'll redirect them and they'll get their answer. But then I want to know, because the next person that asked me that question, I want to know the answer to that question. Being open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
With regards
That's
to
a hard one for people.
Right? With regards to opinions, those with higher IQs are said to be more receptive to new ideas. That is partly due to the fact that they will not accept things on face value and prefer to look at evidence from all sides first. Only after presented with a diverse selection of opinions do highly intelligent people make up their own minds. This process is called delay discounting. Adaptability.
Oh yeah, that's a hard one for most of these kids nowadays.
I know. Recent psychological research suggests intelligence depends on being able to change your own behaviors in order to cope more effectively with your environment. Dude, you gotta be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that is not gonna go your way.
Sometimes you gotta bite your tongue and just roll with the punches. That's the best way to do it.
Hey, I've got a call coming.
Uh-oh. No. Oh, 5 after. Who's
It
calling?
is 5 after. It is kind of late. WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air. What's going on?
I just want to know why I'm not a general yet.
Because you haven't filled out the proper paperwork.
I think that's awesome, man. You just described me. Crazy.
What's going on, brother?
I'm having a great night, man. Watching your video and loving the guy with the beard, man.
That's Pooky.
That's Pooky.
I consider dating that guy. Holy shit, that's a beard.
He is pretty sexy.
I am available too, by the way.
So what's on your mind?
Man, I'm just listening to you guys, and I'm thinking about all the stuff that's going on in the Army right now, and I'm thinking that none of these attributes fit any of these guys that are leading us right now.
Explain that.
Well, there's no I don't know. Obviously, Millie and our secta, they know everything. And, it just seems like with all the issues we're having in recruiting and with retaining and with training, it's a giant hypocrisy. We're telling folks now that you don't have to take your online courses, even though that for years it's been stomped into us that we had to take them. And, shoot, these guys don't fill any of the attributes of a genius that you described.
I'm from the Army of a time where we did correspondence courses. There was no online anything, so.
No, I get where he's coming from with this, and it makes sense to me in a sense.
Okay, so what does that mean?
I mean, I can understand like these like courses and stuff. Like I don't know. Like, if you don't mind me asking, when did you join the military? Or when did you get out?
And no, I'm still in. I'm a reservist now. I joined in 2000. I know. I was active duty, so I got my time. I joined in 2005 at the age of 39. I turned 40 in basic
Holy
training.
shit, man! Like that's the time I joined. I was 19, man. Fuck, dude.
Yeah. I got 3 years left. I'm ready to get out. I'm a battalion XO right now, and I just see all this shit that's going on, and I'm thinking, as an older guy, this stuff is so ridiculous.
Why do you think I got out, man? I got sick of sensitivity training every day. You know, like that's what it did it for me at that point. I was like,
being a person, and this is me talking. You know, I got out in '96, and I work for a large company, and it's the same way. You get. I mean, every year I've got these 5 or 6 or 7 courses that I have to take, and it's all about human trafficking and the proper way to do contract negotiations. Shit that is not in my wheelhouse at all. No. I have nothing to do with any of this stuff, but I still have to take courses in it. So
it's a waste of man hours.
It doesn't end. It really doesn't end. I think I probably spend 15 or 20 hours a year taking courses that have nothing to do with my job description and the benefit that I provide to my company. It's just one of those things that it has to be done. It has to be done. And I'm not saying that it has to be done. I'm just saying, you know, we have to be more diverse. I have to take courses that are, you know, that LBGT is just all this inclusiveness stuff that no one gives a fuck about. You know, if you work with me, I don't care what you are. If you can do the job, great. We're team members. If you can't do the job, then we're going to show you the door. You're going to be gone.
At the kitchen. Yeah, exactly.
But I still have to take all this inclusiveness training and stuff and things, and it's frustrating. But I still get paid the same. And when the company realizes that it's largely a waste of money, maybe it'll change. I have no idea. So just because you're getting out of the military, it doesn't mean that it's not going. That doesn't mean all this bullshit training is going to stop. It doesn't stop. It continues.
You got to understand. I was in the civilian world prior to being in the military.
Okay.
And I had to take those same courses, but the fact is, did it take up all of my time?
It takes up a lot.
Take up all of the time that I could be spent doing my job? No, absolutely not, because revenue is the number one thing in any company. And
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Right now, we don't train. We train the metrics, and that's wrong.
But the metrics are now showing that, yes, my people, and I'm saying this as a corporation, trying to put my corporation hat on, yes, my people have been properly trained to not harass people or not money launder or human traffic or, you know, whatever all the other courses are. It's just they're like, this kind of keeps the big corporations out of civil litigation because they're like, well, yes, Joe Snuffy has gone through this training, and it really sucks that he continued to make those bad choices. Does that?
Oh, sure, but we do suicide prevention training.
Yep.
We do sexual assault training.
Yep.
Sexual assault is the highest it's ever been in the Army. Suicides are continuing to escalate. There's no answer for that. I mean, in my civilian job, I had an answer for that. I went to Congress. Congress agreed with me and the solution that I provided, but there wasn't a garrison commander out there willing to take a risk on a new project because, you know, they're not going to make
my bullets, my OER bullets. They were worried about their OER bullets rather than fucking fixing shit.
There's not one out of 207 of them that doesn't think they're going to be a brigadier general.
So, where are we going with this?
Well, there's nowhere to go with it. I got 3 years left. I'm moving to Croatia.
What?
Croatia.
That's right, man.
Okay. I've heard, okay, I'm going to move to Iowa. I've heard, okay, I'm going to move to Massachusetts. I've never heard, fuck this, man. I'm going to retire. I'm going to Croatia. That's a beautiful country.
I did a 1.5 year AT task force training in Eastern Europe, and yeah, cost of living, beautiful women, great beer. I mean, what's not to like?
Okay. Have you heard of Belize?
Hey, it doesn't matter.
And it's closer to the United States. I don't know, man. I don't think I would ever. I don't want to say never, but I love the United States. I love everything that this country has to offer. I don't care who's in charge. I love our Constitution and the way that freedom is handled in the United States. I'm not confident.
I'll tell you what, big man. I'll tell you what. I'll send you out an invite once I get settled down, and then you come over, take a visit, and then I'm happy to rent you my spare room.
Okay. You know how to contact me. You know, Koz-WTF Nation Radio on Facebook, or you can send a message to WTF Nation Radio here. I'm willing to travel and just check things out.
Brother.
All right, brother.
All right. Hey, listen, thanks so much, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
All right, you take care.
All right, bro. Take care. We've reached the end of the show, and we're going to be just signing off right now, man. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Koz, and that is Pooky, and we got about 4 shows a week. Monday is the Monday edition. Tuesday is Pop Culture Warrior. I promise you, CQ is going to be back this Tuesday. He's kind of, canceled. He's kind of ghosted us for the last couple of weeks, but he's going to be back this Tuesday. So Monday is the Monday edition with Ice. Tuesday is Pop Culture Warrior. Thursday is Sergeant's Time. And then we're back with Friday Night Freedom. And that's when me and Pooky are going to be back here just talking shit. Hopefully the news is a little less royal this week. A little less royal and a little less illegal immigrants and flying people things and I just gotta notice there's buses en route to Delaware.
There you go.
This shit is getting out of control, man.
Best way to do it. I'm sorry. I agree.
All right, guys. I hope you all have a great night. And this is a kickoff to your weekend. So make good choices and do good things. Take care of your brothers and sisters. And we're out. Pooky, you got any closing comments?
Like I say every time, don't drink and drive. Don't beat your spouse, and don't kick your dog, and don't add and subtract from the population. You'll be all right.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in, and we're out of here.
Nation Radio.
My friend came to the door. She said, well, I was on the phone cooking me and my baby some breakfast. And she said, hey, something wrong. It's popping. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no. So the girl come downstairs. She come out her apartment with her baby with no shoes on. I said, oh, girl, it's cold outside. She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man, the building is on fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounced out. We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. This is WTF Nation Radio.